For those of you who might not be able to understand Jim,
Oh, yeah, here we
you
go.
can hear that amazing Scottish accent.
Yep, haven't lost it yet, John.
Jim, that's where I want to start. I think you have an amazing story, a true American dream story. So I want you to take us back to a little boy in Scotland. Tell me what it was like growing up there. What was your childhood like?
So I was born in 1957 in a place called Motherwell, Scotland. I was brought up there. There was six siblings in the family, 6 of us all together.
Wow.
And we didn't have much, but, you know, we enjoyed ourselves. They're great. My mother and father was fantastic people, fantastic. Anyway, I went into the plumbing when I was 16.
Okay.
So I took a course in plumbing and I decided I wanted to do the plumbing. So I did a 4-year course in plumbing. I got my apprenticeship.
Now, why plumbing? Did you try anything else? Did you try
Well,
roofing, raking leaves? Like what?
Well,
what
tell
intrigued
the
you about
truth, the first 6 months of the course was specialising in different trades like electrical, plumbing,
Okay.
painting, plastering, and I decided to try the plumbing. I loved it. I love working with my hands. I love working with pipes and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I took that the second 6 months. I took that course, and then I got an apprenticeship, John, with a company in Worcester, Scotland. So I
So
went there.
apprenticeship is like an internship almost, like for us today.
Yeah. I got an apprenticeship, and I was with those guys for 4 years. I got my master's over there, and then from there I went into pipe fitting and instrumentation fitting. I loved that. It was hydraulics, lines, and stuff like that. So I did that for a few years, and then I met a beautiful lady, John.
I'm very familiar with this lady.
Absolutely fantastic lady. Her name is Janice Mackay. Right, good Scottish name actually, you know. So Janice and I started dating, and we fell in love, John. So we decided to get married in 1978.
How old are you?
I was 21 and Janice was 18. I actually met Janice, believe it or not, I shouldn't be saying this over the air, but anyway, I met Janice around about 17. I think she was 17 at the time. So, but as I say, she was a wonderful lady. So the two of us get married. And I had a friend that was over in South Africa. I didn't even know he was over there, actually. He actually wrote me a letter, because that's what email and stuff like that was text. You couldn't do that then. So he sent us a letter, and he says to me, Jim, why don't you come over? He was a plumber, and he was working for the Building Federation of South Africa. And Janice and I got excited with the whole thing. We decided, let's give it a try, because what have we got to lose? We're only in our 20s. I was 20, she was 18. So I wrote a letter back to him, and then we went in for the interview in Glasgow, and we sat down. The two of us sat down. It was the easiest interview you'd ever imagine, John. It was just, they asked you a couple of questions, and you were in the country.
Now, this is an interview to move to South
To move to South Africa, yeah. My parents were very disappointed. They were really, really heartbroken. The minute you brought the subject up, if you were sitting with them about us immigrating to South Africa, there was tears in their eyes.
Oh, really?
Oh, it was terrible. Really, really bad. So anyway, so we decided to move, and we were in, the day we were flying out, we had at least 20 relatives at the airport with us to see us off, and my mother made us an apple pie. To brought it
To
in
take
the
on the plane?
Take on the plane was in it, yeah. But anyway, Janice and I were so, we made an arrangement that we'd just look at each other and decide we'll go to the bathroom. So we nipped off, but we never come back. And they were all sitting in the airport waiting on us. But we couldn't tell them we were leaving. We were just so upset.
Yeah.
And I think most of the flight, it was a 13-hour flight over there to South Africa.
Yeah.
And I think Janice cried the whole 13 hours.
I believe it.
She was really pretty upset. So anyway, we arrived in Johannesburg in a place called, what was it called again now? Well, it was at Johannesburg itself. And we moved into this hotel. They put us up in this hotel. And I went to work for the Building Federation of South Africa.
Okay. Which is, what would you equivalent that to here? Is that like working for the state? Would that be working for like a housing authority? What is
well,
that
working for a big housing authority. They were building houses. There was a shortage of houses over in South Africa. They needed, the demand was like 20,000 houses a day they needed to supply, but it's just you never catch up to that supply, that demand anyway. So anyway, I started off with them. I didn't like the job. I didn't like the conditions. We were working in compounds surrounded by fences and stuff like that, and security guards were everywhere watching us, what makes sure we're safe, because in these compounds. So anyway, I went for an interview with a hospital with a company called Clinic Holdings in South Africa. They own 3 private hospitals, pharmaceutical companies, properties all over Johannesburg.
Wow.
So I went for the interview and I got the job, and I ended up in charge of the 3 private hospitals, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. The experience I got was unbelievable, unbelievable experience. So anyway, I worked with them for about roughly 5 years, and then I decided to go on my own.
Okay.
That was challenging, but it was exciting. Janice and I was both excited about the whole thing. And then I was in the business for 2 or 3 years, and then all of a sudden, my sister-in-law approached me and says to me, "You know, there's a lottery going to America. You can apply for it." She says, "Do you want to try it?" I goes, "I'll just try it." So anyway, we filled it in. Janice and I filled the application form and sent it in.
It was just like a postcard you made.
Just like a postcard, sent it in, and a year and a half later, we forgot all about the whole thing. So a year and a half later, they says to me, "You have until," this was around about February, in 81 it was, no, sorry, 91. And she says to me, excuse me for a second here to think, "You have got a chance to come into America. Do you want to come in?" So this was around about February, and it would only to get in by July.
Okay. She had like 3, 4 months tops.
Yeah, so we to sell the house and everything else. But anyway, so we're getting to America anyway, and we flew over here, moved into Rhode. The reason we came to Rhode Island is because Janice's aunts lived in Rhode Island, and Jade was 7 at the time, and Mark was only 4.
Yeah.
So we felt safe if they, we felt a lot better knowing her aunts were there, because you hear all these stories about different things. But anyway, so we come over here, and I got a job with a lady master plumber. She owned the business, and so I worked with them, prevailing wages. But they weren't paying me the proper wages because I didn't have any paperwork from the States. So anyway, I went with them, and then I decided I wanted to go on my own, John. I didn't have the license at the time, so I opened up a drain cleaner company. So I opened up the company. Then I had to go and sit the test. Rhode Island wouldn't even let me sit the test. No, I just wanted to sit the test, the journeyman's test. They wouldn't says, "No, we can't allow you to do it." So I went in front of the board in Boston, and I met with the guys there on the board in Boston. They say to me, "Listen, Jim, what to do is go to Brockton's College for a whole year, do the course there for a year, and we'll let you sit the journeyman's test." So I did that. And I passed the journeyman's test, and then I had to, then I could approach Rhode Island and say, "Listen, I've got a license from another state. Do you mind if I come in and sit the test?" So I did that anyway, and I got my journeyman's Rhode Island. I got my journeyman's in Mass, and then I went back to Mass and got my Massachusetts, and I did the same in Rhode Island. And then that way I could, John, it was the most exciting part of my life, because I could take that stupid drain cleaning sign off my truck and put Royal Flush Plumbing.
Okay.
I said, "I am coming to get you guys. I'm ready for you now."
What year was this?
That was, the year was, I think that was 91, 91, 92, something like that. I can't remember the exact dates. But I was so excited, and, because as I say, it's just a big achievement for me. And I knew I had to do something because the kids were young. Yeah. And I says, well, there's no way I could survive on apprenticeship wages.
Sure.
So off we went. So we started the business.
So this was the infancy and the start of Royal
This was
Flush.
the start of Royal Flush.